A drama is a 60-minute scripted television show starring real people who play as actors and read from the script to play their role. Dramas have elements of tragedy or more serious moments and lighthearted comedy. Unlike sitcoms that have an ensemble cast, dramas generally have a single character focus. And sometimes the TV show is even named after that single character. Consider the show House or The Good Wife. They're really drawing focus to that main character and then surrounding them with a supporting cast that has smaller roles. While sitcoms conflicts are concluded by the end of each episode, drama conflicts can last multiple episodes or perhaps even multiple seasons. So here we are left with cliffhanger endings. And these are the types of shows that will leave you coming back for more because you just need to know what happens in the next episode or the next season. When looking at the expense of a drama, season length is fairly similar to that of a sitcom. The settings become more expensive because they're not using the repetitive, similar sets that sitcoms are. Our characters are going to more locations, and this adds to the realism of a drama. As I said, dramas are generally single character focused. There's a smaller supporting cast, and then there are extras who might be in one or two episodes but pop in and pop out. Dramas have fewer writers than sitcoms. They're trying to maintain a cohesive story throughout multiple seasons, and they're not as reliant on bouncing ideas off of each other for jokes. So, generally, 1 to 2 writers per drama. Because dramas are a double slot, 60 minutes, that means that we have more room for commercial breaks. On traditional TV, we could fit maybe 7 or 8 commercial breaks, which adds to the value of the show. And this is more room for product placement. So perhaps my episode is 50 or 60 minutes long. I have the opportunity to place more products like clothing or food or vehicles or technology. As we study drama, I want to draw your attention to 2 different types of drama shows. The first is called a procedural drama, and you may see that word, procedure. A procedure is a set of steps to be followed. In a procedural drama, we follow a specific plot every week. And usually these shows focus on a case, a crime case, a medical case, or a court case. And this case will likely be wrapped up by the end of that hour-long episode. So this, in a way, is a little bit similar to a sitcom. Our case escalates throughout the hour. We have to identify a bad guy, and that bad guy could be an actual criminal. It could be someone that we're against in the court case on trial, or if it's a medical drama, it could be the disease or whatever is happening to our patient. That's the bad guy in the show. Each episode can stand alone. You could jump in to season 3 of House and you wouldn't need to watch the previous seasons to understand what's happening in that one episode because they're so self-contained. They're very familiar. If you miss an episode, it's not a big deal. You don't really need to know what happened in the last episode to make sense of this current episode. So this type of drama promotes occasional viewing. You can tune in whenever, and if you miss an episode, it's not too big of a deal. An example that I mentioned would be House. Perhaps you've seen Hawaii Five-0 or Blue Bloods. Shows like these always have a case to solve, whether it's medical or criminal, NCIS, Law and Order. These are all examples of procedural dramas that follow a specific plot each week. Here's an example of what a procedural drama plot would look like. In the beginning, we are introduced to the case or the crime or the disease of the week. We have to find out who the murderer was. We have to decide what is this mystery disease that our patient has. We have to win this courtroom battle against our opponent. That's the case of the week. We have our hero, our main character, who's assigned to the case. And throughout the episode, the case gets more and more urgent. And there's a point towards the end of the episode where it looks like our hero might lose. They might not solve that case, but generally the outcome comes out in their favor. It almost looks like a plot diagram that you did in literature classes, right? You have your exposition where we're learning about what's happening this week, and then you have your rising actions, the climax of the episode, and the resolution at the end. The second type of drama is called a serial drama. And while procedural dramas are plot-driven, serial dramas are character-driven. These are dramas that are really rooted and based in relationships. So you won't have a conflict introduced in one episode and wrapped up in the same episode like you would in a procedural drama. Our conflicts are playing out across multiple episodes, maybe even multiple seasons, and there are multiple conflicts per episode. In crime and law and medical shows, we often just have one major conflict. These require previous knowledge. You may see these shows have the previously on this episode because you need to remember what did happen in the last episode before I watch this next episode. These types of shows promote regular viewing. There's no way you could jump in on season 3 of Jane the Virgin and possibly know what's happened. So many people have fallen in and out of love. People have been murdered. New people came into their lives. There's so much drama and so much relationship and character development throughout the course of a serial drama that you need to commit to this drama season 1 and you need to watch it all the way through. Some examples would be Friday Night Lights. This is based on relationships, the relationships between friends or romantic relationships or student-teacher relationships. It's not as if they play one football game per week and that's the major conflict. The major conflict has to do with how they relate to one another. Another example that I got hooked on a couple of years ago is Good Girls. It's about a group of soccer moms who become kind of drug lords and money launderers to make money for their family. Well, there's no way you could jump in on season 3 and know what's happened. You need the other information from the previous episodes. As a visual learner, I wanted to give you some visual representation of what a season of each of these types of dramas looks like. So consider each of these timelines as one season. And in one season, I told you we have about 20 to 24 episodes. So the conflict arcs or the plot arcs in a procedural drama will look very regular. We'll have one conflict that's introduced in an episode, it gets worse and worse and worse, and it's solved by the end of that same episode. So if we plotted out what each of the conflicts looked like, imagine I get to 20 on this. So we have all of these smaller conflicts. Our conflict is introduced in the episode. By the end of the episode, we've figured it out. Next episode, new case, new problem, fixed. Next episode, new case, new problem, fixed. So you can see this pattern. Now, of course, characters in these shows still have relationships. So most of the conflict has to do with the case of the week. But we have characters who fall in love. We have characters who have family issues. So maybe we're introduced to a conflict in episode 1 and it takes until the middle of the season for us to know how that wraps up. Maybe we're introduced to a new conflict at the end of a season and it goes until the next season for us to see. We're left with that cliffhanger ending. A serial drama is not nearly as organized. A serial drama will come in with several conflicts right away. Some will be smaller and perhaps solved within an episode, but for the most part, let's say someone likes someone else, they learn about them more, they become in a relationship, but they break up, so there's a new conflict, they have a new boyfriend, maybe they go back to that same relationship. So serial dramas, conflicts, again, may take place over the course of just one episode, but likely are much messier than procedural dramas that follow the same pattern or the same procedure throughout every single episode.